am humbled and blown away and just stunned tonight. It's just, this is beyond, God says pray. And he says sometimes he answers exceedingly, abundantly, more than you can think or imagine. And you guys can't even find a parking spot tonight. That's the greatness of God. That's what that is. That's the greatness of the God we serve. So we're going to move quickly tonight. People are standing and it's rough. I'm going to do two things tonight, and it's going to be broken up by a song, because they says if you do it all at once, you'll be boring. So I'm going to do it and we'll break it up, okay? So I'm going to first talk about how Foundations Church has kind of got to this point, and that would just be some tactical stuff, and then we'll sing a song, and then I'll come back and just do real quickly about the vision that we have for our church. So this started, this has been, it's been a rough year for some of us, for many of us, and it was hard, and so, it was a good learning lesson. And so when I resigned, it was a questioning time for me. I was confused and struggled and frustrated, and I pursued very hard a job in Denver for Geico. And I really wanted it. I really did. People call that a geographical escape. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever tried one of those things? And I tried really hard, and I pursued, and I prayed, and I was doing very, very well. I was progressing down. My friend who works for Geico called me up and says, there's 2 people left, and you're one of the 2. And I told my wife Vicki, I says, this is our exit. This is good. This will be good for us. Sell insurance for a while with the get-go. That sounds pretty good right now. And then I got the call back, and the guy said, you're a great candidate. We loved working with you, and you finished second. And I thought, oh, man. So after I resigned, my good friend, a week later, Bryce resigned. And then a little bit short time after that, my good friend Dan Schmidt resigned. And all of us were looking for jobs. Bryce was pursuing a situation in Seattle, and he had some other postings that was going on. Dan was this close to taking a job in Chicago. We were all just going to do our thing. It was a hard year, and we got together and we said, why are we, because people were calling us and saying, why don't you do something here, you guys? Why don't you do something? And, we didn't want to do anything that was real controversial or appearing divisive. That's not what we're about. And we didn't want to do that. And it's like, we don't want to do that. And we kept praying, and then we called our wives in, the smart part of the team. And they prayed. We met a couple times, and then we came back. And I remember Dan Schmidt saying to us, he says, all of us can find jobs other places. He says, but I'd rather try this and fail than not try it at all. And so we made a commitment that we would be open to pray about this, but we wanted to do it from a very healthy place. From a place of moving forward, a place coming from healthy, and so from health, and so we took time, and I took time to spend time with God and the Bible. It's been good for me to do that. And my good friend Dave Thornton, who you meet in a second, he got up and started this whole thing. He tells a story about when shepherds going to feed their sheep, they don't take them to the mountaintop. The lush grass is in the valley. That's where the rich, lush, nutritious grass really is. And I don't like the valley, but God's in the valley. And sometimes the valley is a great place to be, because you learn some great, great lessons there. Just before we started, my phone buzzed, and it was a text from my daughter. And she says, hey, Dad, I just want you to know that I'm thinking of you and praying for you. You'll be great tonight. The best results always come from struggles. I love you tons, Dad. And I thought, the valley, and some of you have been in the valley, and some of you I know, because I've talked to you, still are in the valley. And I want you to know that you're not alone in the valley, that God's in the valley. And in the valley is some unbelievable, great nutrition there to strengthen and to support. And I think, Dan and Bryce and I, we're very excited because in the midst of a hard year, God's been very good to us. And he said, okay, you guys, let's give this a shot. We didn't want to do it alone. And so we decided to say, okay, let's go and think and pray and pick a man or two, a person or two who you think would help us with this, kind of like our board. And so what's the matter? Speak louder is what you're saying. Okay, I will. I'll speak louder. Okay, speak louder. That's my wife back there. Speak louder. She never says that, by the way. Okay, I've never heard her say that, ever. Okay? And so we prayed and we came back, and I want to introduce to you 5 men. I'll have their wives stand with them too, who we decided we want to partner with. And here were the qualifications of these 5 men. 1, we had to have unbelievable trust in them. We would trust anything to these guys. They had to be godly. They had to fulfill the qualifications of 1 Timothy and Titus. Godly people. They had to be men that we would be accountable to. This is never about one person running a church. It's about submitting to God's leadership and having strong people run the church. It's never about a person. And we wanted them to be people that we would be totally accountable. They had not be going to any church. We are not about taking people from other churches. Don't want to do that. We want to create a place for people who don't have a church home. And so he says, who are these 5? And so I'd like to have these men stand. Dave Thornton is right there, and his wife Tammy. Aaron Everett's up here with his wife Anna. Ben Beard and his wife Linda. Where's Ben at? Where? Right there. Can't even see Ben. Okay. Bob Mitchell and his wife Stacy. Where's Bob at? Is Bob? He's always in the back just taking care of stuff. And Scott Mead and his wife Andrea. Where's Scott? Right there. I just want to say a few things about these men. Here's what I want to know about. What I want you to know about these men. I'm raising 2 boys. If my boys grew up to be like any of these 5 men, I'd be blessed beyond measure. These are guys that I would follow. These are guys that I trust. These are guys that are not yes people. Believe me, they're not yes people. Okay? They're not yes people. They're committed to tell the truth. They're committed to hold all of us accountable. And I think if any one of us step in line, out of line, I think they'll say, you know what, get back in line. I think they'll do it from a place of love. I've seen it. But these are men who are going to stand. This church, right now, is in the hands of these 5 guys, and I don't think it could be in a better place. These are 5 very, very strong men that I would follow anywhere. Great, great men. And so we asked these guys to come, and we've been praying, and they says, we want to do it, and we've been working hard to get this going. Lots of meetings. That's why I had the wife stand up. Thank you to the spouses, because we've been gone a lot and having meetings. We had a meeting at 6 o'clock this morning. Prayer time, got up and had a meeting, and we've been working hard to do this because we want to do it right. And so these 5 guys says, let's go. Let's make it happen. And so that's been powerful to work with these guys. Very powerful. And although I trust these guys, here's what I want to say about us. We'll work hard, but we're not perfect. And we'll stub our toe. And we'll make decisions, and sometimes they won't be the right decisions. And we'll try to make them right. But one thing we'll always do. Our ears will always be open to the people of this church. Always. Always. We won't close our ears to you. Now, we can't be everything to everybody. But we'll listen to you, and we'll deliberate, and we'll try to make the right decision. And every decision that we make, if you agree or disagree, we'll at least be able to tell you why we made that decision and our reasons for it. And it will be done in a collaborative effort. So here's a story about Foundations Church. Jesus said this. He compared our lives to a house. And then he says this. Sometimes the rain comes down on the house. You ever had rain come down in your life? And he says, sometimes the storms will come and the winds will blow and beat against that house. You ever had that happen in your life? And here's what Jesus said. Yet this house didn't fall because it had its foundation on the rock. And that's what this church is about. Providing a solid foundation under everybody that comes to this church. A rock. That no matter what comes into our life, there's a rock. And that rock unequivocally is Jesus Christ. And we're going to be bold about talking about that. Because it's the only way any of us, any of our marriages or families or individuals can stand is if we stand on the rock. So we said, okay guys, we're going to start in January. And everybody cried and said, we want something for Christmas. No way are you going to start in January. I said, give me a break. Can I have a Christmas off? They said, no way. That's why I know they're not yes men. I pleaded, I begged, I want a Christmas off. No way. We're starting Christmas Eve. 5 o'clock in the evening, Christmas Eve at Thompson Valley. There's lots of parking there. Okay? Now here's what I want you to know. Okay, that's when we're going to launch it. This is going to be a regional church. We're not just a Loveland church. Thompson Valley is a temporary location. We are working hard to get a better location for Fort Collins and Loveland people. And Windsor, it's going to be a regional church. But that's where we're going to start, Thompson Valley, and we're going to work hard to get out of there as fast as we can. Okay? We're going to do that, all right? And you'll hear more about that. On New Year's Day, we're going to meet. That's a Sunday. We're going to meet on New Year's Day. And we're going to have, I already have the title of my message. It's called Let Go to Hold On. Because we think, Foundations Church, God's going to have his hand on us, that's the people of this church, in 2012 like nothing else. But in order to grab hold of the blessings of God, we have to let go of the hurts of the past. So January 1 is going to be a healing time about whatever's going on in our life. Some of us have had divorces, job loss, people lost in our life, wounds. You know what? The best way to move on is to let Jesus take care of those wounds. So we'll have a time where we could let go of that stuff. We'll take communion on January 1. And then our official launch, the big one, where we'll have classes for all the kids and all that stuff, will be January 8th. Okay? Everybody's welcome to come on January 1 and Christmas Eve. The more the merrier. But our real official launch, where all the bells and whistles, we hope, are put on, will be January 8th. Okay? That's what we're going to do. Now, I'm going to turn it over to Bryce in just a second, but I want you to hear this. Okay? 3 things I want you to know tonight. 3 things. Okay? Number 1, Foundations Church will let you down. I want you to know that. Because we're made of people. This church will let you down. It's not our intention. We don't want to. But this church, you'll be at times disappointed with us. We want you to talk to us, and because we want to try to get it right, but we'll let you down. Number 2, the pastors of this church will let you down. How do I know that? Because one of them I live with. Okay? And he lets me down a lot. Okay? This is not about a church or individuals. So Foundations Church will let you down. The pastoral staff will let you down. But number 3, this church is about letting you know that God will never let you down. Never let you down. He is our rock. And in this church, he is our foundation. And upon him, we will stand.